Okay. Hello. Yeah. Been a while. Got a little distracted. Playing. Well, beating. I finished doing everything in Silk Song. But hey, no more distractions. I guess. Let's get into it. Chapter 114. Joke Minisode 3. Loud's Bad Day. This is my third joke minisode, and it's gonna show what happens when the Loud kids, me and Rachel, are having a bad time. Oh God. It's gonna work in reverse order. Okay. Oh, for the look at this. Look at this. Okay, all right. Let me get it straight. I really dig into James Dean because I insult him and I insult his work because it's bad and when he's made is bad and annoying. But that doesn't mean he's an idiot, just a bad writer. And then stuff like this happens where he somehow names a chapter minisode, minisode, and then he makes it so fucking long. Like it's not. Just make it a joke chapter then. Just call it a joke chapter because it's not mini. All right. It's like basic naming conventions. We don't name long stuff. We don't. Okay, jeez, calm down. Anyways, we don't. Ooh, is my fan getting in my mic? I hope not. Anyways, we don't name long things with short names. Names that imply shortness, brevity. There we go. Word of the day. Because I don't know about him or anybody else. But when I think mini, I think small amount of, I think short, I think small, little. This is not short. Whatever. Okay, Lincoln. Me and Rachel are watching TV when Lincoln came in and he had a sour look and he was beaten up. Bad. Lincoln, what happened to you? I ask. You look like you came out of a dumpster, says Rachel. Chandler and his goons beat me up again. They escaped from jail? Chandler, wait, Chandler? Is Chandler the one that, like, got sent to hell? Am I crazy? Like, he made a pact with the devil in some psychiatric hospital that he was condemned to, and then maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. It's a joke minisode, so it's not canon, I think? I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah, come on, joke. Joke's in the title. Why exactly is it joke? It's not funny. It's not like anybody would read this entire chapter and you're like, oh, it's actually a joke chapter. And then they're like, oh, ha, 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 that's funny. No. Call it like a hypothetical. Oh, look, a chapter wherein we're all having a bad time. I'm getting off track. It's my, uh, it's my trademark at this point. Chandler and his goons beat me up again. I hate those jerks, says Lincoln. Oh, that does it, I say. I get up, and Lincoln saw me get ready for something. Where are you going, JD? He asks. To pulverize those monsters into oblivion, I answer. Oh boy, men, says Rachel. 20 minutes later, I came back and I had a badly beat up Chandler in my hands, naturally. You beat up that monster, Chandler? Asks Lori. Oh, his greatest feat yet. We know JD. He doesn't have that much strength or power, so managing something as crazy as this is bound to go down in the history books proudly. Okay. Yep, you girls can finish him off. So brave. Yeah, oh, I started this fight. Now I'm going to have all of my, I don't know, adopted sisters at this point. We'll call it that. I'm going to have all my adopted sisters finish you off. I throw him to them. I throw him to them, and Chandler got up. How dare you bully our brother? Only we get to do that, says Lori. They brutally and savagely beat up Chandler at a ferocious level. I sit down with Chandler and Lincoln. Thanks for beating up Chandler for me, JD. Yeah, thanks for ruining my reputation, JD. Back at school when they all learned that I got my rich sugar daddy to. Okay, that's a bit. But yeah, like my. What are you? What are you? They're clearly not family related. At no point does it say um that like the two families mix, just the estate. All right. So you're just what, really close neighbors, best friends, I guess. But it really is just weird because he provides for all of you. He provides for a lot of people. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Uh, Lincoln got beat up, and he sent his best friend, who is a great deal older than him, and thus probably older than Chandler, who also cares for him, and it's just weird. It's a weird relationship, and everybody at school is going to either think Lincoln's a pussy or just not want to be friends with him, or maybe be friends with him because they're afraid. Anyways, where was I? No problem, buddy. I say you did it. Says Rachel. Observant. Observant. Yep. Ha 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 ha. Nobody messes with my friends and lives to tell about it. I say, you said it, JD, says Lincoln. We all laugh. Ha ha ha. As the screen fades out, Chandler yells, "Help me!" Lily. Oopsie. Me and Rachel were watching TV. Is this how they're all going to start? With JD and Rach watching TV. When we heard Lily crying, we went up to her room and saw her crying in her crib. I don't understand. When do these take place? All right, because they keep having Lily be a baby again, but this Rachel character hasn't been introduced yet. Not like um, I don't know. Does Lily get turned back into a baby at some point in the future? And also in the future, we meet Rachel. Whatever, whatever. Water under the bridge. Ignore it. Oh, Lily, what's wrong? I ask. I told her and comfort her. I hold her and comfort her. Ouch, look at her finger, says Rach. Lily's thumb was red and throbbing. Oh, what happened, Lily? Did you hurt your whittle your whittle finger? Oh, I'm sorry. I kiss it and make it better. There, all better? I ask. Lily nods. Good, there's something in my eye. It's gone. It's my eye. I ripped out my eye. I could only be so lucky. Lily nods. Good, I say. I put Lily back in her crib. Be careful next time, Lily, I say. Lily nodded, and I gave her blankie to her. I gave her blankie to her, and she fell asleep. You're great with babies, JD, says Rachel. Sure. What? Very good at kissing their whittle fingers. Anyways, shh. I've learned from these things, Rach. You've learned from babies? But I say, we left the room and I closed the door. Lisa came in and she was crying hard. She was beaten up bad again. Her glasses were broken and her clothes were torn. Lisa! I exclaimed. We go over and see her. I see you. What happened? I ask. Wah, I got assaulted by some bully colleagues at the university. They tormented me and hurt me bad. Who? University? Like actual university? Because I know Lisa's the smart one. So I'd maybe like she's going to an actual proper university instead of kindergarten or wherever she should be. But you're telling me that other people at university, who I have to assume are minimum 18 years old, went ahead and like beat up, but why? They're either like incredibly mentally unwell, psychotic, like, oh yeah, let's beat up a baby, because that's what Lisa is. All right. She's what, 1 year old? I have no idea, but she's very young. She definitely looks like a baby in the show. Just what kind of world do they live in? What kind of world? Hey, I guess if they can let a baby into university, they'll also have. If a baby could get into university, maybe also a college student would beat up a baby. Something like that. Fact is, though, yeah, their lives are ruined. I mean, the university career is definitely ruined. Everybody. Surely the news of the college students who beat up a baby is going to spread around campus. They are not going to have friends. Hell, no, I mean, they're going to get kicked out. Whatever. I'm getting off track. I'm getting wicked off track. Okay, they tormented me and hurt me bad. Oh, you poor girl, I say. I got this. Magic wings, says Rachel. Flora came in. What's happening? Oh no, Lisa, what happened? Asks Flora. Some colleagues at the university beat her up bad. Why not just say bullies? Whatever, I say. Oh, Lisa, let me help you, says Flora. I don't know who this is. Flora used her magic and she healed her. Lisa was healed completely. Thanks, Flora, says Lisa. Let me take care of this, I say. I left the house for the university. I'm yawning. It's the middle of the day and I'm yawning. It's very tiring what I do. 2 hours later, I arrived back home clapping the dust off my hands. Like that. That takes care of that, I say. What did you do? Asks Rachel. I don't. What could he possibly have done? I pulverized those bozos and got them expelled. Oh, go figure. I say, well done, second big brother. Yeah, that's nice. Says Lisa. Thanks, Lisa. No one messes with my friends and lives to tell the tale. You said that already. Whatever. I say, we laugh. Ha ha ha. Lana. Lana comes home and she was crying hard. And she had claw marks, black eye, torn clothes, and no shoes. Lana! We went over to her. What happened? I asked. I was walking home when I was attacked by a pack of wolves. Oh, yeah. Okay. Very forested area the walk back home was then, hmm? Or am I led to believe you were walking down your suburban neighborhood and just a pack of wolves, middle of the day? I don't know. Maybe this is taking place at night. Whatever. Whoa, Rachel, get help fast, I say, as if, they don't all basically have some level of healing superpowers. Yo, Musa, calls Rachel. Musa came down. Oh, my favorite character, Musa. Or Musa. What's wrong, Rach? Lana! Exclaims Musa. She was attacked by a pack of wolves. She got really hurt. That'll happen. Honestly, though, I think it's kind of remarkable how little she's hurt comparatively. Because, when most people get attacked by a pack of wolves, they get like, I don't know, disemboweled? But hey, must have lucked out. They must have not been hungry. Anyways. Oh man, says Musa. Musa picked up Lana. Oh, Lana, you poor thing, says Musa. Don't worry, I got bandages. You have you summoned last one, last little snippet. You summoned Flora, a magic winks, I guess. I don't know. Why don't you just do that again? This feels like a very much more important use of such power. Whatever. Kill me, just kill me. Oh, Lana, you poor thing. Don't worry, I got bandages. We're doing great, I say. Lincoln came. Lana, exclaims Lincoln. He came over. She got attacked by a pack of wolves. She's hurt bad. I say, oh man, says Lincoln, clearly not too distraught. Lincoln helped put the bandages on Lana, and she was all better. Thanks, big bro, says Lana. No problem, Lana. You have to be careful when you go outside, says Lincoln. I'll remember that for next time, says Lana. How? What could you do? Just don't get attacked by wolves? I don't think it's really a lesson to be learned. I think it's just, I don't know, sometimes there's going to be a pack of wolves outside, and that's the risk we accept living in a world where wolves are. I don't know. Maybe just don't walk too close to the forest. A whole pack of wolves, and they didn't even kill her, you know? Because Lana's one of the youngers. If a pack of wolves came for her, realistically, if they didn't kill her on the spot, they would have dragged her back to their den or whatever, eaten her there. We can only be so blessed to have a character be taken out of the story. Honestly, other than villains who probably come and go like time, sure. I don't think there's a single good guy, I'm doing quotation marks, good guy who um I don't think there's a single good guy who like will leave and not because I mean they'll definitely forget about them like with what they did with Woody, but it's not like they actively have a character leave the I'll just say Team Loud Phoenix Storm. You know, it's not like Woody was like, it's been great guys, but I need to go back to my forest or some shit, and then we never see him again. That'd be nice. Okay. Anyways, they hugged. Lola, me and Rachel were watching TV again with Lincoln, and when we heard screaming coming down the street, we looked out the window and saw Lola being chased by her beauty pageant rival, Lindsay Sweetwater, who was armed with a baseball bat that had spikes on it, and we knew that she was going to try and kill Lola. Are we doing like hyperbole, or are they actually just implying that this little girl is going to kill this other little girl? You know what? I'm calling your bluff. I don't think a little girl could even swing a baseball bat with spikes hard enough to kill anybody. Anything. Maybe some ants, but whatever. Oh, come on, I say. Yeah, we have to kill her first. We rush outside and Lola got behind Rachel. I grabbed the bat out of Lindsay's hand. Lindsay, what have you completely lost your mind? I ask. I've come in second place to Lola for far too long, and the only way to make sure I win again is to destroy Lola, says Lindsay. Magic wing, says Rachel. Oh, great. Oh, now is the time to use. How about you just say, "Oh, kids will be kids," and then send her on her way, because she's a baby. She's young, very young. I don't know. Tell her parents. But don't summon a magical creature who, I don't know, will kill her or whatever you're trying to do. Bloom came flying in. What's going on here? Asks Bloom. Lindsay Sweetwater has lost her marbles. She wants to kill Lola because she's sick and tired of coming in second place to her. I say, do something, says Rachel. Bloom picked Lindsay up by the back of her dress and held her up to Lincoln's eye level. Lindsay Sweetwater, you may be Lola's rival, but sisters no one messes my sisters on my watch. Whistles? I can't whistle. I like accidentally whistle sometimes. I don't think that counts though. Yeah, if I ever accidentally whistle while reading this chapter, I'll make sure to quickly scroll back. That's stupid. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Anyways, nobody watched Mrs. My sister on my watch. Whistles, says Lincoln. The rest of the sisters came and they had angry looks on their faces. Why do we need the magic winks here for? I assume that's what they're called. Magic winks. All he did is pick her up. The rest of the sisters came and they had angry looks on their faces. You mess with one Loud, you mess with all of them. Show no mercy, girls. Yeah, don't go easy on her or nothing. But do try to avoid the soft spot on her skull that has yet to harden. The rest. They pounced on Lindsay and tied her up to a huge rocket and lit the fuse. Naturally, happy trails, Lindsay, says Lola. The rocket flew high up into the sky and exploded into a beautiful fireworks display. Lindsay's head appeared. Oh, what? Oh, the fireworks took the form of Lindsay's head. I hate you, Lola Loud, says Lindsay. What a sore loser. No offense, Lynn. I say, what? Never mind. None taken, JD. Thanks, guys, and thank you, Linky, says Lola. No problem, Lola, says Lincoln. That little twerp got what she deserved, I say. You said it, says Rachel. All right, I got to bring this up. I don't know if I have yet or before, but you can't keep doing this. Um, Having like cartoony, ha ha ha, look at this funny way that this person is being attacked and hurt. The whole cartoonish physics of it. Like hand them a gigantic bomb and it blows up and they're covered in soot with only their eyes visible. You can't have that cartoony stuff and then also have things happen that are like brutal. You can't straight up kill people, beat them up and make them spit out blood in the same kind of world where it's like, oh yeah, tie you to a rocket. but she's fine. It's whiplash. And frankly, it's a little it's a little confusing. Like, how was I supposed to know that this was just going to be funny Looney Tunes humor and not, oh my god, they're going to blow this little girl up? I mean, well, okay. The thing is, they probably use Looney Tunes hu- uh, stuff for like the people who probably don't really deserve to die. You know, like the little girl here, she doesn't deserve to die. Kids say messed up stuff all the time. So if a kid says, "I'm gonna kill you," I'm not exactly gonna take it seriously. All right. At worst, I'll tell their mother. Okay, that's the thing. It's like instead of doing the reasonable thing, they do the cartoony thing, right? Because they can't brutally hurt these characters in the way that they might with like Naruto villains. So instead of like doing the reasonable thing, they're like, well, what if we hurt them, but it's actually okay because it's not real pain. It's cartoon. It's magic. Toon Force. That's what I'm thinking of. Whatever. I'm yelling I'm yelling into the void here. It's not like it's not like I'm gonna convince him to go back and fix it. Lainey came in and she was all beaten up. What? No way! Her clothes were shredded and she had a black eye and bleeding cuts and bruises. Oh my gosh, Lainey, I say. Lainey collapsed and I caught her. Thank you, JD. Lainey, who did this to you? I ask. Lainey spits out a tooth and some blood. It was Chandler and his cronies again. Lincoln arrived. Chandler did this to you, Lainey? Mm-mm. He asks. And his cronies. And we have to stop this. Rachel, get help. Yeah, I say, yeah. Hey, Mrs. Loud, Rachel calls. Rita came in and she gasped in horror. Lady! She, like, what kind of bullies are we running into here? A bully might beat you up and call you names, but like, it's implying they cut her. She spat out a tooth. This is unnerving, we'll say. Okay, Laney, she ran over and held her. What happened to you? She asks. Chandler and his goons have gone. She was savagely beaten up by Chandler and his cronies. I say. Chandler and his goons have gone too far this time, says Lincoln. They sure have. Let's get 'em. Rachel, you stay here and help Laney, 'cause this is what men do. I say. Right, come on, Laney. I'll get you some ice, says Rachel. Okay, says Laney. Oh, wait, no, it's not a colon. So, um, I'll just read it like this Laney, okay. 45 minutes later, Laney's sisters were nursing her back to health when me and Lincoln come in with Chandler and his goons. Again. You're gonna pay for this, Chandler, says Lincoln. I'm glad I beat up Scarfy, says Chandler. Try telling that to the faces of Laney's sisters, you butt faces. I say, just tearing out my hair, ripping out my eyes. How dare you bully Laney, says Lori. Well, what you did was unforgivable, says Lucy. You will pay for this, says Lisa. They're all yours, I say. We throw them on the floor, and the girls pounced on Chandler and his cronies and mercilessly pulverized them into dust. Me and Lincoln sat by Laney, Rachel, and Rita. Thanks, guys. Rita's watching this. Okay. Mother of the Year. Thanks, guys, says Laney. No problem, Laney, I say. You mess with one loud, says Lincoln. Oh, crying out loud. You mess with all of them. Let me at them, says Rita, wanting to beat up a bunch of kids. Rita dives into the cloud and joins in the fray. Lesson here. Never mess with a loud or you will face all of their wrath. I say, we laugh. Ha ha ha. Chandler screams, help me. The scream irised in. I think they're getting better, but probably not. Me and Rachel were heading into the living room to watch TV when we saw Lucy lying on the sofa, sad. She had a dark cloud over her head and she was crying. Lucy, what's wrong? I asked. Lynn destroyed Edwin and I beat her up. That's so sad. We gasped. Lucy showed us her Edwin bust and it was shattered into a million pieces. Oh man, I'm sorry, Lucy. I know how much he means to you, but you still have him on Vampires of Melancholia. Colia. I know how I can put him back together, says Rachel, snapping her fingers. In an instant, Lucy's Edwin bust was good as new. Oh, crisis averted. In an instant, Lucy's Edwin bust was good as new. Whoa, Rachel, how did you do that? I ask. My powers as a Winx enable me to do anything. Anything. That's nice. Oh, anything, you say? Not just a lot. Anything. So you can snap your fingers and say, kill JD, and it would work? Obviously, you wouldn't, but it's nice to imagine. Maybe you could do snap your fingers and be like, cure cancer, solve um, food shortage. What is it? Starvation. Whatever. Give food to those who need it. There. Whatever. That is cool, I say. Oh, Edwin, I'm glad you're back together. Thank you, Rachel, says Lucy. You're welcome, Luce, says Rachel. Lynn Jr. Lynn came in, and she was beaten up and screamed and punched the wall in rage. Lynn, what happened to you? I ask. I lost my game because of the meatheads Hawk and Hank, and they beat me up for the fun of it. What? Yeah, wouldn't be the same. Like, oh, you lost your game. Who cares? But oh, they beat you up too. Those bastards. Those jerks. I'll make them eat spiders for this. That's a specific threat. They will pay for this, says Rachel. They will, I say. I walk out of the house. And they all heard the sounds of savage punching, fighting, and violence. What, were Hawk and Hank like right outside? I come back 10 minutes later with a smile on my face. I clap my hands and got the dirt off. That takes care of that, I say. Did you beat them up? Asks Lynn. Take a fucking wild guess. Yep, and let's just say that I ended their sports careers, I say. At the hospital, that's whatever. At the hospital, Hawk and Hank were in their beds and they were groaning in extreme pain as they were wrapped in casts. Had black swollen eyes, teeth missing, bruises, bleeding, cuts, scrapes, and bruises on and broken noses. Oh Jesus, they've got 2 sets of bruises. I hate my life, says Hawk. If you hate your life, I'll hate my life, says Hank. What a couple of losers. Nobody said that. That's just a. I don't think James Dean likes them much. You kidding me? I think that's funny. I think isn't that like their thing, where it's like one of them does or says something, and the other one is like, "Oh, if you do or say that, I'll do or say that." I think that's funny. A little bit. Luann came in and she was covered in tomatoes, pies, a bucket full of vomit was on her head, and she was covered in cuts, bruises. Some of her teeth were missing. Oh my god. And she had a black eye, shredded clothes, and the words "not funny" were on her. Well, that's not really bullying so much as it is a matter of fact statement. Luann, it just has to keep getting worse, you know? Yeah, we'll get to who's next. We get to Luna. Oh, Luna comes in and she's got a broken arm, bruises all over her face. One of her eyes is missing. She's got concentrated radiation poisoning in her left leg, and her hair is all shaved off. And of course, she's got bleeding cuts and her clothes are shredded. And then, who else? Luna. Ah, yes. Lenny comes in and she's had all the blood drained from her body. Um, I don't know. All of her limbs have been removed. She's been dipped in acid, and she's been infected with the zombie virus. Anyways, Luann, I exclaim. We rush over and look at her. What happened to you? I ask, crying hard. Wah! My act was at a comedy club and everyone hated it. They humiliated me and ruined me. Obviously, what they did was going too far, but let's not ignore the fact that maybe this is a sign that you're not very funny, Luann. Those humorless nimrods, they wouldn't know great comedy if it bit them in their sorry butts. Rachel, get help quick, I say. Okay. That was weird. Where was I? Rachel, get help quick. Right. Layla, calls Rachel. Layla came down. Luann, says Layla. The hair in my mouth. Ugh. Okay, Luann, says Layla. Luann was savagely thrashed at a bad comedy club, and they humiliated her and beat her up. And beat her bad, I say. Oh no, let me help. Healing water, said Layla. Layla healed Luann in her water, and she was all better. With her water, and she was all better, says, that was awesome, Layla. Come on, Rachel, let's teach those humorless Nimrods a lesson they'll never forget, I say. Okay, says Rachel. We set out to the building where the comedy club was as, and we threw Molotov cocktails and bottles of nitroglycerin in it, and the whole building exploded into flaming rubble. Kraboom! Laugh at that, you humorless Nimrods, I say. He really likes that insult. We found out that the comedy club was a club for people that are stupid. And Luann tried to cheer them up, but it didn't work, and she got the worst humiliation of her life. We left a note in front of the destroyed building for them. It said, "Laugh at this, you filthy, humorless dirtbags." What the fuck? Uh, it was a comedy club for people that are stupid? Like, you found that out. Like, that's maybe what he's trying to say, because nobody would go there. No no, you don't even have to be smart. Nobody with a pair of eyes would go there if it was a comedy club for quote unquote stupid people. So I'm just going to go ahead and revise this and say that this was a comedy club for mentally disabled people, and they just and they just completely destroyed it, terrorized it. That's the word. They are terrorists now. Hopefully nobody was inside. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe. They certainly don't say, "Oh, there was nobody inside." So I'm just going to have to assume that they killed a bunch of people who are potentially mentally disabled. What heroes? Small taste of what's to come, I guess. Okay. Luna. Luna came home all bloody and bruised. Typical. Like, you guys gotta, like, maybe you guys gotta just stop being bad people. I think people are catching on that maybe you're not the good guys, and they're like kind of beating you up for it. Whatever. Luna came home all bloody and bruised, and her eye was black and swollen, and her clothes were, oh my god, who could have guessed, shredded, and she was crying hard. Luna, I say, we went over. What happened to you? I ask. Crying, my concert went horribly wrong, and a rival band beat me up just because he couldn't. Because this isn't a bad day. No, okay, it would have been a bad day if it was like my current concert went horribly wrong, and then that's where it ended. But no, no, no. It has to be, and then somebody beat me up, right? Because then you don't have to actually think about how you're going to help her with this. You can just go beat up the people that beat her up, and then boom, hey, look, I solved your problems. No, you didn't. Her concert went wrong. All right. And if that was the only thing, then we could have had like some, I don't know, emotionally intelligent dialogue about how, hey, nobody was a great musician just out off the bat. You have to keep trying. And if somebody doesn't like your music, don't let it get you down. Prove them wrong. Become great. Stuff like that. Stuff that, like, you'd think is easier than just doing like another typical, oh, beat up the people who beat you up story. But it's not, I mean, it's technically harder than the, you know, beat you up, the, yeah, the beat up stories. But it's really not that hard, I just gave like a bare bones version of it off the top of my head. Give it like a couple more minutes, and then boom, you've got a much better story than, oh, well, someone's sad, better beat the person up who made them sad. Whatever. Okay, that's horrible, Luna. Who was this band? I ask. It was Negative Swagger. That's actually that's actually a dope ass name. It's not that good. Whatever. They're enemies of Mick Swagger, casually. They hate us with a vengeance and want to take over the music world. They sabotaged my concert and beat me up and humiliated me. Wah, 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 answers the man. Luna, I mean. Those monsters. Rachel, get Rachel, get help. Is that like your is that like your catchphrase at this point? You know you could do something, Mr. Omnipotent. Then we're gonna destroy those monsters, I say. Magic wings, says Rachel. Musa came down again Musa, I guess, and gasped. Luna, what happened? She asks. A bad band group that hates McSwagger with a terrible vengeance, called the Negative Swagger, ruined her concert and humiliated her really bad. They hate all McSwagger fans with a merciless vendetta. I answer. These guys sound like they're trouble, and they must be stopped at all costs, says Musa. Word, come on, Rachel, I say. Okay, says Rachel. We set out and went after them. 2 hours later, we came back and we pulled a wagon that had their broken and battered bodies in them. That's nice. That's them, dude, says Luna. Rita, Lori, and her siblings came out. Uh, why isn't um Lynn Senior in any of these? Whatever. I think I think he was in the first minisode. Maybe he was in a few of the minisodes, but I don't think he's been in any of the joke minisodes. Whatever. Uh, Nobody bullies our family and lives to tell about it, says Lori. They jumped them in savage. Yeah, because they're not already beaten. Whatever. And savagely pulverized them in a huge dust cloud as the sounds of punching, kicking, biting, and screaming were heard. Thanks, dude, says Luna. No problem, Luna. Let's hope these losers learn their where where they're going it won't be pretty. I say, we laughing. The fighting raged on. That's nice. Lenny came back from the mall, and she was brutally beaten up and crying hard. Lenny, I gasp. We went over and comforted her. Lenny, what happened to you? I ask. Well, I was beaten up by other people forgetting my wardrobe. I was beaten up by other people forgetting my wardrobe. It was totes awful, she answers. I don't know what that means. Oh, that is it. Rachel, get Rachel, get help. I'm going to the mall. I say. Okay, says Rachel. I walked to the mall. Could have flown, could have driven, could have, I don't know, teleported at this point, but hey, who cares? 3 hours later, I came back completely unscathed because I was worried. I had multiple bags of clothes in my arms. I have ret- I have returned, I say. Why is he talking like this? I have returned. At the mall, the store was a total mess and the customers were battered and bruised and hurt bad. Ow, says customer. Excuse me. We can't. I'm gonna keep reading. Lori on a rainy day. Ooh, this is gonna be a bad one. Lori came home and she was in a really bad mood. And she had nasty bruises, cuts, black eye, torn clothes, and missing one shoe. Lori, what happened to you? I ask. Lori broke down crying. Oh, Bobby and I literally had a huge fight, and he beat me up bad. Balls, Lori. That's crazy. I didn't think that they would do a Bobby as the bad guy story. We go over and I comforted her. Oh, Lori, it's okay. Rachel, get help. There is to be a reason behind it. Rachel, get help. He was upset that I chose a poor restaurant for our date, and he snapped and we broke up. Yeah, that'll do it. Yep, take it from me. One wrong restaurant recommendation, and it all goes down the drain. I've seen 50-year-old marriages get ruined because some guy wanted to go to Arby's and his wife wanted to go to Chick-fil-A. Anyways, uh oh Lori, it's not the end of the world, I say. It is for me. Hey, that's actually something she would say. He's now in prison on assault and battery and attempted murder charges and held without bail. I never want to see that monster again, says Lori. Lori's siblings came down and so did Lincoln. Okay, this actually could be it. This could be the one where it's like, oh, this isn't something you can solve by simply beating up somebody because he's already in jail. What was I? I don't want to see that monster again. Lori's siblings came down, and so did Lincoln. Lori, it's all over. It's gonna be okay. Rachel, help heal Lori. Rachel, get help. Help heal Lori, I say. Okay, crystal voice, says Rachel. Rachel fired a stream of sound at Lori, and it healed her instantly. That was so cool, I say, instantly forgetting about the horrible, horrible things that Lori has gone through, because I guess for some fucking reason, we have to call attention to a superpower that, oh, we probably have seen a million different versions of. All right? Why is it only Rachel who's using any kind of magic? I don't understand. Why is Rachel taking over this fucking fan fiction? That was rocking, dude, says Luna. Yeah, but what are we gonna do about Bobby? He was Lori's love of her life, and now Lori has no one because he's in jail, I say. Clyde has a Mondo crush on her. We know that, so why not him? Asks Lainey. Oh, why not him? Could I think of one reason? Nope. Sounds good to me. Hook 'em up. Let's give it a shot. They're going through with it. What do you think, Rach? Asks Lincoln, I mean. Yeah, says Rachel. We called Clyde and told him what went down, and he came over as soon as he got the message, and almost instantly, calm down. Instantly, they became smitten. It was a happy time for them. Yep, until Chris Hansen, hears about this. Just like not even a thought went into these, did it? It's like, okay, how's this one gonna go down? Oh, we're gonna have JD beat them up. How'd this one go down? Oh, JD's gonna beat them up. How about this one? Oh, JD's gonna beat them up. Hey, who should Lori date now? The 5-year-old boy. I don't know, 10-year-old boy maybe. There, boom, done. It's like, did he even? It's a pretty easy thing to avoid. It's not like it's even if there aren't other options, we just don't go with this option because it's pedophilia. It's predatory. Lainey's got like minimum 8 years on him, I want to say. I don't know how old Lori is, but she's definitely way too old for him. Okay, whatever. Another creepy relationship in the bucket, drop in the bucket. Rachel. Oh, here we go. Me and Lincoln were watching TV when Rachel came in, and she had lots of bruises and cuts. Oh no! Her cuts were shredded. Oh, her clothes were shredded, and she had a black eye, and she was crying. Oh no! But who's gonna help Rachel? Dude, I'm gonna lose my shit if JD says, Rachel, get help. Rach! I exclaim. I gasp. We went over to her. Ow! I was biking and I rode over a rock. Oh, better go beat up the rock, I guess, says Rachel. That must have hurt, I say. I whistle, and Lainey came. What happened? Asks Lainey. Rachel rode her bike and hurt her leg, I say. Help! Help, says Rachel. How bad is it, Rach? I ask. Super bad, answers Rachel. Let me see, I say. I look at her leg and it's swollen and purple, gross. Hey, why don't you use your healing magic, your multiple different forms and methods of healing, to heal yourself? You know, we've seen it. This chapter alone, we've seen it. Maybe it doesn't work on herself. There, done. Poof. And to think, that almost ruined the whole story. Yeah, it's broken, I say. It appears to be a fracture of the fibula bone. She'll need to rest for 8 to 12 weeks, says Lisa. Unless we use healing magic. Whoa, we got to get it looked at. Let's get her to the hospital. Magic winks, I say. Bloom arrived. Hey, how about we get the Musa? The Musa, right? That's the one that does the healing stuff? Whatever. Bloom arrived. What's up, JD? Asks Bloom. We think Rachel broke her leg after hitting her bike on a rock, I say. I answer, let's get her to the hospital, says Bloom. Ouch, says Rachel. I know it hurts, but we'll get it looked at, I say. In the hospital, the doctor showed us Rachel's x-ray of her leg. The right leg was broken, and it would take 10 to 12 weeks to heal. Geez, that's a really bad fracture, I say. Yikes, that must have really hurt, says Lincoln. No kidding, says Lynn. Well, Rachel is a really lucky girl. She'll have to rest for 10 to 12 weeks, and she'll be in a wheelchair for that long, I says the doctor. That's going to be stressful, I say. Pooh-pooh, says Lily for some reason. I don't think I can walk again, says Rachel. Yes, you can, Rach, and we'll be here to help you out. Physical therapy, it's a fracture. That's bad, but it's not like, maybe if you broke your spine, there'd be a threat of not walking again. Anyways, I don't think I can walk again, says Rachel. Yes, you can, Rach. That's right, Rachel. We'll literally be here for you, says Loy. Totes, says Lenny. That's right, Doodad, says Luna. We've got your back, and we'll help you out. I get it. I get it. But seriously, we'll help you get through this, says Luna. Luann, sorry. I laugh, but everyone's I laugh, but everyone's oh right, no. For a minute I thought like everyone else was like not in the mood because it was a sad scenario, but no. It's just because the whole oh yeah, Luann's jokes are bad. It's like laughing in the middle of a hospital about around a bunch of solemn people. Anyways, ha 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 ha, that was a good one. Though, I say, you can count on us, Rachel, says Lynn. We'll help you out, says Lincoln. We won't let anything else happen, says Lucy. You need us now more than ever, says Lainey. That's right, says Lana. Yeah, says Lola. Affirmative, says Lisa. Poo poo, says Lily. Thanks, guys, says Rachel. You're welcome, says Rach. You're welcome, Rach. I say. JD. Oh no. Oh no. What could possibly happen? Anything that hurts JD could only be beat up by JD. So who's going to help JD? I walk into the house and I was holding my leg in pain. Ow, my leg! I say. JD, are you okay? Asks Rachel. I think my leg is broken. It hurts so bad. I yell. It, is this broke? I had tears coming out of my eyes as the pain is really unbearable. Guys, JD is hurt, says Rachel. Rachel, get help! The loud siblings came and Lisa was looking me over. Now, JD, I need you to show me where it's hurting you, says Lisa. Ooh, okay. I groan in pain. I lift my hands away and they gasped, saying that my leg was blue and purple and had blood coming out of it, out of what looked like a bullet wound. You've been shot. I walk into the house and I was holding my leg in pain. Ow, my leg. Turns out it wasn't broken, it was shot and broken. I feel like maybe that's something that you I don't know, bring up. You don't wait for the doctors to surround you before you start telling them what happened. Oh, maybe you do. But even still, though, you'd think he'd mention it. Oh, yeah, I don't know what happened. There was this loud sound and like a searing hot pain in my leg. Clearly not painful enough for him to walk in, walk to the house. You've been shot and it shattered your fibula, says Lisa. Ew, says Rachel. Somebody get help, says the boy. I got this. Hearing voice. Hearing? I think that's meant to be healing. Because frankly, I think we all have that superpower. Hearing voice. Whatever, says Rachel. Rachel sang a song that fired a beam of light at my leg. It was healing me, and the bullet slug came out of my leg and was fully healed. That was awesome, Rach. My leg is fully healed, I say. I look at the bullet slug and pick it up. I can't believe this was in my leg. It's hard to imagine that they can hurt and kill people. It's not, though, because it's a fucking bullet, dumbass. Sorry. I say, I know, says Rachel. Thanks, Rach. I owe you one. That's it? Are we not gonna. Who shot you? Why did they shoot you? No problem, says Rachel. Now it's personal, I say. I found the man that did this to me and beat him up bad and threw him in jail. Okay, well, thank God. The end. Another joke minisode complete. This was a freaking trudge. Me and Rachel did this one as a role play. This was a great RP and it was funny too. Very funny. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time. Hated it. Good news is, uh, we're done with the minisodes. So we get to come back to the fandom wiki page or whatever it's called. At least for the next 400 or so chapters. So, or maybe closer to 300. Uh, chapter 115, Pulp Friction, done my way. The episode opens up on a city at night. Christ, I'm just now realizing it's been so long. You know, I've read so many of the minisodes that I don't even know, like, what happened before they all ended. Started, I guess. I don't know. Something something. JD and gang go to Naruto land. Naruto gets powerful. JD gets powerful. Everyone's very impressed. Anyways, the episode opens up on a city at night in a warehouse. Lincoln as Ace Savvy, Ronnie Ann as Lady Ace, Clyde as One Eye Jack, and Lainey as Lady Solitaire are hanging over a shark tank with the shark leaping up, trying to devour them. Mwahaha! Game over, Ace Savvy, Lady Ace, One Eye Jack, and Lady Solitaire, says Wild Card Willie. Think again, Wild Card Willie. I've got a few more cards up my sleeve, says Ace Savvy. Ace drops a handful of cards on the ground with his sisters and friends on them. Just then, a horn blazes and the van comes in with Lori's persona at the wheel. The high card. Oops. All right, girls, says the high card, lifting up her mask. Let's deal with these losers. The high card. Yeah. I guess it's like a title card? Maybe. The van opens up, revealing the rest of the girls in their Ace Savvy personae. I think the plural for persona is personas, but whatever. A massive fire explosion blasts a hole through the warehouse, and through the flames came me, Vuri, Eileen, Jesse, Jerry, Eddie, Kill Me Now, Naruto, Sakura, Inu. I missed this. I missed this. You know, Fu, Rin, Hinata, Tenten, Pakra, and Kushina Young. And we landed on the floor in our Ace Savvy personae. Time to burn some bad guys, says the King of Flaming Hearts. That's so cool. The King of Flaming Hearts. Eep, says Wildcard Willie, hiding behind one of his henchmen. Get them! We all leap into action with Lily and Lola's personae starting the fight off. You take the baby, I'll take the princess, says henchman number one to his partner. Excuse me? Excuse you, I am the queen, says the Queen of Diamonds. She flicks her hair as her tiara sparkles. The Queen of Diamonds! The Queen tosses her diamond tiara and knocks out Henchman 2. Henchman 1 comes charging at them as Lily holds up a rocket launcher. Take a whiff of this, says the Deuce. The Deuce! The Deuce fires her stink bombs and they smell really bad, and she nails the other goon. Luna's persona turns up the volume. I'm gonna keep reading. Just hold fast. Get ready to do the bad guy shuffle, says the Night Club. The Night Club. The Night Club blares her guitar at the minions and knocks them into a hole dug up by Lucy's persona. No aces in this hole, says the Eight of Spades. The Eight of Spades. Ember's persona. Ember? The ghost? I don't remember. Ember's persona has a flaming axe guitar, and she. Okay, yes, it has to be. And she cranks up the volume to Supermax. Oh no. I'm sorry, that's the name? Time to fuel the burning shuffle. It says the Blazing Day Club. The Day Club. So cool. Yeah. Didn't she like burn to death? I feel like maybe we shouldn't call her that, but whatever. The Blazing Day Club blares her guitar, and flaming sound waves incinerate some of the thugs. Jesse's persona is pulverizing some goons with a series of kicks, punches, and furious headbutts at a blazing speed. A fight for justice, says the Furious Six. The Furious Six. Carol's persona is fighting five thugs and she is pulverizing them with a bunch of martial arts moves and firing fireballs at them. These moves will burn, says the Swift Quattro. The Swift Quattro. Woody Woodpecker, okay. Woody Woodpecker's persona is flying fast and pecking thugs at a rapid pace. Grows trees around them and he pecks on the metal roof of the warehouse and a metal circle plate falls onto the trees and traps them. Okay. So he makes a ring of trees grow around, I guess, a bunch of thugs, and then he goes up to the roof where he pecks out a circle which falls over the ring of trees. That's really, yeah. Sure, sure. Uh, what was I? Entraps them. How's that for pecking away your troubles? That's not. Says laughs the the fucking calm down. Laughs the Jack of Wood. The Jack of Wood. Okay. Penny's persona is fighting three thugs and she traps them in a giant cage made of diamonds. This will make you shine, says the Five of Diamonds. The Five of Diamonds. Shannon's persona has numerous ghosts flying around her and she sends them at more thugs and they get caught in a ghost storm that tears them apart. Okay. Just tears them it's completely apart. Okay. Fine. The afterlife awaits, says the Ghost of Sixes. The Ghost of Sixes. That's not even fucking sure. Yeah, that's my favorite house. That's my favorite house in a deck of cards, the Ghost House. Riley's persona fights four thugs and she hits them with shuriken and kunai made of flowers and poison ivy. The thugs were itching and sneezing like crazy. Okay, let me fight Riley, alright? Because Shannon would tear you apart. But if you fight Riley, you just get itchy. This will make you itch. That it does. That it does. Says the Six of Flowers. The Six of Flowers. Linka's persona was fighting more thugs, and she threw a three made entirely out of lightning, and it electrocuted them. That's a shocking trifecta, says the lightning of threes. The lightning of threes. Oh, very clever. Gabriella's persona was, yeah, the British of, I don't know, eighths. Eighths, I guess, not eighths. Gabriella's persona was fighting two thugs. You won't last against us, woman, says henchman one. No fucking way. No fucking way. I'm sorry, that's her name. I called it. Want a bet? Want a bet? Asks the British Four. The British Four. She fires a deluge of super hot tea. Oh god. At the first thug and forms a hammer made of a giant spoon and hits the second thug with tremendous force. Pakura's persona is facing more goons and she fires superheated vapor at them and they shrivel up like raisins into mummies. Okay, this will dry you out, says the heat spade. Uh, like the heat wave? Maybe. Says the heat spade. Lynn's persona charges via comic panels into the goons with a headbutt. 52 pickup, says the strong suit. The strong suit. One of the goons lands on a pile of other defeated minions with Lisa's persona keeping an accurate count. Or more precisely, 6, says the card. Oh, wait. Smashes another henchman's face with her calculator. Make that 7, says the card counter. The card counter. Fu's persona zooms around at a blazing speed and fires lightning at some more goons, electrocuting them. Electrifying justice, says the card zap. The card zap. What a great name. Jerry's persona had a pride of lions with her, naturally, and she ran on all fours, and she and the lions pounce on multiple goons. We're wolves. We own the night. A pride of justice. Roar, roaring like a lion's. Roars the diamond pride like a lion. The diamond pride. I guess that's not the worst name. Tenten's persona was bashing lots of goons' faces in with a bow staff and hammer. The weapon, the Fury of Nines suits you. The Weapon of Nines, says the Weapon of Nines. The Weapon of Nines. I'm getting lost in it. Ah, my favorite character, Ern's. Ern's persona was firing powerful blasts of fire and water at more thugs and melting them. Melting them. All right. I suppose that's probably meant to be Rin. This is burning you up, says says the seven of ice and of fire and ice. The seven of fire and ice. As Ace and Jack draw closer to the tank, they notice Lenny's persona. I got a stuffy nose. Hey guys, check out my new outfit. It's perfect for fall weather and springing into action, says the 11 of Hearts, using the sash on her outfit as a utility rope, swinging over the tanks and saving the quartet. Ugh, these belts are so 90s, she says, pulling their chains off and sets them free. She drops them. Uh, the 11 of Hearts. Wild card Willie makes for the exit. Wild card's getting away, says Ace. Lana's persona is working on the shark tank. Hey, Willie, go fish, she says the royal flush, loosening the bolt on the pipe. The royal flush! The tank comes loose with the water and sharks coming out. Wildcard evades it but gets knocked back by a Jack in the Box style weapon set up by Luann's persona. I see your bet and raise you, ha 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 ha, says the Joker. The Joker! Willie sent flying into the air, and Eddie's persona appears and pummels him with a barrage of jawbreakers moving at blazing speed. The jawbreakers knocked out all of Willie's teeth. Try not to bite off more than you can't chew, says the Tens Jawbreaker. The Tens Jawbreaker. Good one, my love, says the Joker. Thanks, my Joker, says the Tens Jawbreaker. I want to rip off my hands. Varese persona appears surfing on a wave of water. These fish really bite, I guess. The Queen of Water Spades. The Queen of Water Spades! Very fires a torrent of water loaded with piranhas at Willie, and it entombs him in a ball of water, and the piranhas bite him all. Piranhas? The piranhas bite him all over. Eileen's persona forms a fist of rock and goes in to punch Willie. Feel the fury of Earth, says the Earth's Club. The Earth's Club! Eileen punches Willie and sends him flying towards the wall. Naruto's persona is armed a chopstick sword, and he summons a geyser of ramen broth and noodles, and it hits Willie and it burns him. Yow, says Willie. Burn from broth. I like look to the camera. Like I don't have a camera set up, but you know how like maybe it's only me, but sometimes now I've seen memes about it where like people look at the invisible camera. And I just do that every time I read one of these dumbass names or here, burn from broth, believe it, says the Ramen Club. The Ramen Club. Sakura's persona punches Willie in the face with devastating force and sends him flying toward the wall. How does that punch you? Asks the punch card. I mean, it's not like a card for card games, but I guess it's a decent name since this is supposed to be all card related. The punch card! Nino's persona entraps Willie in a terrible illusion of him facing a sumo wrestler. Turns out he's terrified of sumo wrestlers. Face what you fear, says Illusion Diamond. The Illusion Diamond! Willie screamed and ran around like a little girl as Hanada's persona appears and lands powerful slaps to his face. This is the gentle side of justice, says the Gentle Club. Fuck me, man. The Gentle Club! A glowing yellow chain wrapped around Willie. How many are there? Oh my Christ! Okay. Um, where was I? The Gentle Club. A glowing yellow chain wrapped around Willie, and he was thrown into the air by young Kushina's persona. Willie then crashed onto the ground with a big thud. What the fuck is that name? How does that suit you? Asks the Chain of Furious Habaneros. The Chain of Furious Habaneros. You haven't won yet, Savvy. I have one trick left up my sleeve, says Will. We already made that joke. Willie holds out a gun. Oh my god. He's a mastermind genius, says Wildcard Willie. So have I, says Lady Solitaire. Lady Solitaire! With the flash of lightning, Lady Solitaire grabbed the chain and dashed through Willie's minions and tied the villain up. Let's finish this, says Lady Ace. Lady Ace! Lady Ace punches William in the face so hard that it made him woozy. Excellent work, Lady Solitaire. You too, Lady Ace, says Ace. Think nothing of it, says Lady Ace. We all pulled through, Ace, says the King of Flaming Hearts. We couldn't have done it without you all, says One Eyed Jack. All in a day's work, says the Queen of Water Spades. Good job, everyone, says Ace. Ace, Lady Ace, and Jack jump over the captured villain. Willie, over to the captured villain. Willie, hold on. Is that being. I hope you can't hear that. I should probably stop doing that. Willie, why do you always have to play dirty cards? Asks Ace. 'Cause that's the only way to clean up. So I guess it's off to jail for me, says Willie. It then shows Willie in a jail cell with the caption reading End in the lower right corner, and it was a comic me, Marie, Lincoln, and Clyde made. They were showing it to Liam, Girl Jordan, and Rusty. Who's Girl Jordan? The end, says Lincoln and Clyde. Awesome, says Liam and Jordan. That was sick. Where'd you get the idea for all those butt kicking super friends? Asks Rusty. I wonder where. From my sisters and my friends and Ronnie Ann. They've always got my back, says Lincoln. Except for Lola. You never turn your back on Lola, says Lincoln, perturbed. I really like Lady Solitaire. She's so smart and quick. Which sister inspired her? Asks Girl Jordan. Lainey, because out of all my sisters, she, Lily, and Gabriella are real heroes. Somehow, actually, they're all heroes, says Lincoln. Then I guess you shouldn't have bothered even saying that first bit. So, if you fellas win the contest, they'll make this here into a real Ace Savvy comic? Asks Liam. And we'll get to meet the creator, Bill Book. Bill Buck, I mean. Why did I read book? Holds out a photo of said. Clyde holds out a photo of said creator. Bill Books. I freaking did it again. Bill. I ruined it. Whatever. Bill Buck, says a heavenly voice. Well, I think your comic's totally gonna win, says Girl Jordan. Darn tootin', says Liam. Word, says Rusty. At that moment, Principal Huggins, grabs the comic book away from them, but I get it back from him. Awesome, I guess. Nuts and loud, McBride. School time is meant for learning, not for doodling degenerate fantasies, says Principal Huggins. School is also for having fun when it is needed. Who the fuck told you that? No, school is for learning. A good teacher can make learning fun, but frankly, there are not many real. I mean, there's like clubs and stuff. You could do that. And hanging out with friends, but that's not really, whatever, school orientated. It's not the main point of school. And I've lost my spot. Ah, but Principal Huggins, you can't take our comic. Well, he didn't. He didn't, cause yeah, Nutson just, I don't know, grabbed it right back from him. Whatever, says Lincoln. Oh, and now you're giving me sass? That's detention today. Till 5, says Principal Huggins. Nobody gives detention to my friends on my watch, says Marie. What the fuck are you gonna do? He's like your principal, dumbass. Of course, he's obviously in the wrong, and I'm sure the more I read of him, he's gonna be like stereotypical bad guy because JD couldn't for the life of him write a bad, like a villain who's anything other than outrageously evil. Anyways, yeah, says Ronnie Ann, but we have to get this to the post office by 4. That's the contest deadline, says Clyde. Oh, I didn't realize. I'll just give it back to you. You don't even have it. He says sarcastically. Not. Now give me that comic, says he says in a serious. Well, you. All right, whatever. You can take it over my dead body, I say. I can't die, just. I can't die, just so you know. I say to the viewers, well, there you have it. There you have it. He just can't die. Well, we had a good run. We're all like, oh, I wonder if this would kill JD. Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Because he just can't die. That can be arranged for all of you, says Principal Huggins, who I guess is going to kill some kids because they were, I don't know, talking about comic books. I whistle, and Jerry, Woody, Carol, Jesse, Lori, Lenny, Luna, Gabriella, Amber, Luann, Eddie, Lynn, Shannon, Linka, Lucy, Lainey and Krista, Lana and Lola, Penny, Lisa, Lily, Naruto, and the girls survive and stand ready to fight Principal Huggins. And I cross my arms and have a sinister smirk on. Also, Rita came in and she had a menacing face. What did you just say to my children? Asks Rita. Principal Huggins was in fear. I, I didn't say anything, says Principal Huggins. I pull out a tape recorder and play the whole thing, naturally. That was not cool, man, says Ember. I cannot believe this. Everyone, will you please leave while I have a chat with the principal here? Asks Rita. Certainly, Miss Rita. I say. We all leave the classroom and the violent sound of punching and kicking, crashing and smashing can be heard. Miss Rita came out. He will never threaten you all again. I've made sure of it, says Rita. As long as you weren't too hard on him, Miss Rita, I say. Oh, sure, yeah, 'cause you care. Rita left and Principal Huggins came out all battered and broken. He had a nasty black eye and his clothes were all shredded and he had bruises and bumps all over him. No harm done, Lincoln. Wait, comedic stupid talking? No harm done, Lincoln. You all enjoy. I don't know what that sounds like. No harm done, Lincoln. You all enjoy the rest of your day, says Principal. Huggins, comedic stupid talking. He limped back to his office. Well, I was hoping Miss Rita would talk to him, not mangle him into oblivion. I'm shocked. I say, Mom always had some grip on the school ever since the phone stampede, says Lori. What's the phone stampede? Asks Eileen. It was back when Lori was in third grade. I heard that Mom pulverized her teacher after she took her phone away. There are very few. What? Like, she took her phone away and that caused you to pulverize her? Maybe she shouldn't have a phone in third grade. Why? What? She shouldn't have a phone in class, firstly. She shouldn't have a phone that young, secondly. And also, like, all she did was take away a phone that possibly would have been acting as a distraction. Huggins here straight up threatened your kids, so sure, pulverize him. But whatever. That's exactly what happened to Linky. Says Lori. We all gasped in shock. Sweet mother of onion burgers, I fucking say. God damn it. Yep, and stories spread around the district like wildfire about Mom since then, says Lori. That is what I call extreme overprotection, says Furry. Give me a picture. I was promised pictures with this version of the fanfic, and frankly, I am unimpressed. Give me a break from reading, even for a few minutes, seconds, not minutes. I'm not going to spend minutes looking at a picture. All right. Well, ever since then, everyone has literally been afraid of. Hold on. No kidding, says Eileen. Ever since then, everyone has literally been afraid of Mom, and if anyone even calls her, those people will be in serious trouble, says Lucy. That's our mom for you, says Nanny. Yes. Yeah, she is a fierce she's a fierce protector. Man, I've thrown off my game, says Lola. No kidding, says Lily. Precisely, our mother unit has instilled fear and terror into the school district through us. And if we call her there, there will be horrific consequences, says Lisa. That is wicked cool, says Jessie. Nonetheless, I hope Principal Huggins learned a valuable lesson from all this. Says Jerry. And what be that and what be that lesson? Asks Liam, speaking like a pirate. Never take away someone's comics, especially our brothers. Yeah, because why would a teacher ever take away a comic book in school? Says Len. Well, you're asking for a death sentence from one of us, says Naruto. I can't argue with that, and you all make really good comics, says Girl Jordan. You know, guys, I have a feeling that there's more to Principal Huggins than we know. Let's go see. What the fuck are we talking about? What is this even about anymore? Yeah, I say, yeah, says Lincoln. We all go to Principal Huggins' office and I knock on the door. Come in, says Principal Huggins. We go in. Principal Huggins drops something in his state of surprise. Is that a comic book? Asks Lincoln, pointing at it. A what? No, says Principal Huggins. You're hiding something, I say. Lincoln picks it up. It is a comic book. The Adventures of Ace Savvy and the Principal Valiant by Wilbur T. Huggins. You're entering the Ace You're entering the Ace Savvy contest, says Lincoln. And your name is Wilbur? Asks Clyde. Wow, Mr. Huggins, I didn't know you're into comics, says Laney. That's cool, says Marie. Look, free hot dogs, says Principal Huggins, pointing the other way. Nice try, but we're not falling for that, I say. So that's why you wanted to confiscate our comic book and put us in detention? To knock us out of the running? Exclaims Lincoln. That is bad. That is bad, says Marie. Okay, I did it. But I had to. When I heard how great your comic was, I knew mine wouldn't stand a chance, says Principal Huggins. This is so sad. But, sir, why is a comic book contest so important to you? You're a successful school administrator. You've got your own golf cart, says Clyde. Yes, it's true. I have it all, but it wasn't always this way, says Principal Huggins. Flashback to Huggins's childhood. When I was your age, I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had Ace. How old is Principal Huggins, and how long has this Ace Savvy comic book been going on for? Whatever. When I was your age, I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had Ace, says Principal Huggins. Narrates Principal Huggins. Yeah, get them, Ace. Way to deal out some justice. Justice. Reads, reads young Wilbur. The other kids playing baseball hit the ball through his comic book and laugh at him. Look at him, says Batter, and flashback. Those comics meant the world to me. I wanted to win the contest so I could meet Bill Buck and thank him for getting me through a lonely childhood. But I went too far. I'm sorry, boys. You deserve to win, not me. As a savvy would say, deal me out. He takes his comic book and leaves forlornly. Wow, I guess there's more to Higgins than meets the eye, says Clyde. It must be so sad to not have friends when growing up, says Laney. Yeah, it is, Laney. Because of my dark past, I never had one friend until I was 8, says Naruto. I remember that, says Sakura. Hard to forget. I knew I was right, but sir, you have a great talent. I say, looking at Principal Huggins' comic. This is really good. You definitely have what it takes to be a great comic book writer like me, Lincoln, Linka, and Clyde. I say. You really think so, JD? Asks Principal Huggins. I know so, I answer. Yeah, and his story just gave us an idea, says Lincoln. It sure did, says Linka. Yeah, like when Lori first got together with Bobby, it was a rainy Tuesday. I wore Swede shoes? Is that Swede? Suede? Whatever. That was a mistake, says Clyde. I think he gets the idea, Clyde, says Lincoln. And we're not mad, because you just gave us a much better ending for our comic, he says to Principal Huggins. I did? Asks Principal Huggins. You did, says Clyde, checking his watch. We only have 2 hours left, though. Plenty of time, and I'm sorry, everyone, says Principal Huggins. We forgive you, sir. Now let's get to work, I say. Return to the comic with the new ending. Willie, why do you always have to play dirty cards? Says Ace, taking off his handkerchief. I'm not an evil guy. I was just dealt a bad hand. As a lonely kid, the only game I knew was solitaire, so I guess it's off to jail for me, says Willie, downtrodden. I have a better idea, says Ace. Cut to a heist having been pulled by Scoots' ace savvy villain persona. The old maid's making off with the jackpot, says Jack. You'll never catch me, savvy. Ha ha ha, laughs the old maid. I'm confused. Whatever. Oh, I wouldn't be so sure, because we've got a new card to play, says Ace. Willie appears by Ace, Lady Solitaire, and Jack. Time to deal out some justice, says Willie. Wild card Willie. The comic the comic stops with Buck Bill? I thought his name was Bill Buck. Whatever. Buck Bill reading it in his studio. I love the ending, especially when we learned Wildcard was a lonely kid. I read a lot of entries with great action sequences, but none with this kind of heart. Yeah, the only good writing JD can do is when he writes about how good of a writer he is. Wow, JD, you're the best writer ever. And if you wrote a fanfic about, like, oh, I don't know, us, I bet it would be really good. Anyways, it was inspired by our principal here. He really wanted to meet you, says Lincoln. Sir, it is an honor. I just never, this is the best day of my. He, he's speechless, but he also passes out from excitement. Kind of. Principal Huggins is speechless and passes out from excitement there. It's truly an honor to meet you, Bill. Me, Lincoln, Linka, and Clyde here are your biggest fans, I say. It's a pleasure to have awesome fans that create awesome comics, says Bill. Oh my god, we're almost done. Lincoln and Clyde just shrug it off. Enter Lincoln's sisters. What did you think of Lady Solitaire? Asks Thany. Hey, what did you think of the Queen of Diamonds? Wasn't she your favorite part? Here, let me show you some of my ideas for an action figure in a bed sheet set, says Lola. Those are the kids gather around Bill and talk to him about the comic. Whoa, this is kind of a full house, says Bill. We all exit the studio. Excite the studio, I mean. We ex Thanks to all you guys, my comic is gonna be a bestseller, says Lincoln. No problem, buddy. Do you get any of the royalties? Whatever. No problem, buddy, I say. And so are all of the eventual merchandising, says Lola. It's so awesome to be part of your adventure, Lincoln, says Laney. I know, Lamo. It's awesome, says Ronnie Ann. It's really cool being in a superhero comic. I looked really cool as the Day Club, says Ember. Me too, dude, says Luna. Someday we should include Sam and all of our crushes as people in perilous situations and reveal who we all are to them down the road. What? I say. That's a great idea, JD. I guess, says Lincoln. That is awesome, says Lenny. I agree. That would be cool, says Ray. Everyone agreed. The end. Another fan fiction completed. I wanted to do this one for a while, but I didn't know how to set it up. I loved the personas that they did in Deuces Wild and in Pulp Friction. They were awesome. I love comic books and more. Buck Bill is a parody of world famous creator of Marvel Comics, Stan Lee. I love Marvel Comics, and it's amazing that he still makes comics in his 90s. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. He is awesome. Let me know what you all think. I hated it. See you next time. It's probably going to be a little bit longer, but I really would like to read 3 chapters rather than 2, so. Hey, maybe I can dark mode this one. Oh, nice. Okay. All the more reason to. Chapter 116, A Spoiled Brat's Vendetta. It starts out with me, Vuri, Woody, Jerry, and the loud kids over at the supermarket shopping for groceries, and we run into a face we all don't like. Princess Morbox, snarls Lola. That's right. You all made a complete and total fool out of me, and I lost everything because of you. Because of you, Lola Loud, says Princess. Says Princess, I guess is her name. Well, you deserved it because you give people everywhere a bad name, says Lola. I do not, says Princess. Yes, you do, says Lola. I do not, says Princess. Yes, you do, says Lana. Affirmative, you do, says Lisa. I do not, says Princess. Yes, you do, says Lanny. So you are Princess Morbucks. Lola told me all about you, I say. Who is that, JD? Asks Marie. That little girl is Princess Morbucks. She and her dad used to live in our house. In what? In our house, and she went to Royal Woods Elementary a little over a year ago before I moved here to Michigan. She went on several crime sprees and got turned in by Lola. All of her assets were seized, and she and her dad were evicted from their house because of it. Cool. Oh, wow. So she's a former rich girl, says Vuri. So you're the rich boy that now lives in my house, says Princess, scratching my nose. That's not your house anymore. You got what you deserved, Princess, I say. You know what I you know what I wanted more than anything else? To be a Powerpuff Girl? Says Princess. The Powerpuff Girls, I heard a lot about them. They live in Hazeltucky, and they what? And they made headline news all over the world because of their crime-fighting adventures. I say, so they exist, and they're not a show, even though you're probably going to imply that they are a show later down the road somehow because you're very bad at everything. Me too, says Rui. I love the Powerpuff Girls. They go to Royal Woods High School. High school? What? How old are the Powerpuff Girls? With Lori, Carol, Lenny, Luna, Gabriella, JD, Veri, and Luann. Cool, I saw them there and they were very famous and popular, I say. And why'd you say cool? You already knew that. You knew that they what? You say cool if it's like news you just heard, news that you liked and you just heard. Whatever. It's because of them that I couldn't be a Powerpuff Girl, says Princess. Princess lived in New York City, and I heard she did some incredibly terrible things over there, says Lola. One time she bought the city and legalized crime. That's awesome. That's actually cool, says Lana. What? You would have destroyed all of civilization, I say, shocked. That's insane. That's total anarchy, says Vuri. And she hired Mojo Jojo to try and destroy the Powerpuff Girls, says Lola. But they stopped them, says Lana. I also heard that she gave them a bomb on their birthday, says Luna Wan. She even teamed up with Mojo Jojo's Fuzzy Lumpkins and him and went on a crime spree. But they were stopped, dudes, says Luna. That's good. Fucking no duh. They also tricked a friend of ours named Robin into stealing, and she tattled on her, and I thought she was a bad enough and and I thought I was a bad enough tattletale, says Lola. And I also heard that she tried to ruin Christmas for everyone around the world by changing the lists. She went to the North Pole and put everyone on the naughty list, and she made her the only girl on the nice list. The truth came out, and now she's on the permanent naughty list, plaque, and is considered the worst child in the history of the world. Well, I mean, Hitler was a kid once. Anyways, whoa, Princess here is worse than a spoiled brat. She's a truly heartless sociopath, I say. Takes one to know one. What's a sociopath? Asks Lana. It's someone that can't feel empathy, remorse, or guilt. Takes one to know one. I say, they do all kinds of terrible things and they don't care who suffers for it. Says Laney. Precisely, says Lisa. And your point is, asks Princess, you're a spoiled brat and a truly evil person with no conscience. I say, and another point is that you got what you deserve, Princess, and we're glad that you're now on the streets for the rest of your life. Says Lola, in a way, Princess, after me and my family won the Colorado lottery, we got all your assets and are now in luxury. But remember this, money can't always get you what you want, and there are some things that money will never buy. Yeah, like the moon, dumbass. Can't buy an ocean. Well, maybe for like a lot of money, but who's got that much money? Anyways, like power, says Lincoln. Okay, well you can buy guns and weaponry. You can fund entire armies if you've got enough. Friendship? I mean, people want to be your friend if you're rich. Not for the right reasons, but still technically friends. Friendship, says Lincoln. Happiness? Okay, that's just not true. Okay? Clearly, anybody who thinks money can't buy happiness just straight up hasn't had enough money to buy happiness. You know how many of my problems would be fixed like that if I had $1 billion? Life would be much better. Maybe I'd be unhappy, but in like a different way, in a way that's like infinitely better than being poor and unhappy. But in being unhappy because you're poor. Not to say that I'm poor, but that's just the point I'm trying to make. Or love, says Woody. You can, well, technically, you could buy a prostitute. Anyways, remember that, I say. We leave, and Princess was seething and fuming and in extreme rage. She kicked over a shelf and was mad. The store owner saw this and threw her out. Boy, that girl is a total menace to society, says Woody. You said it, Woody. Her father made her into a spoiled brat monster, says Lola. No kidding, says Woody. Oh, look at that! An image. Greed can warp a person's mind beyond all point of psychological repair, and those people don't care about anything other than themselves, like the evil Sasuke's that we despise, says Lisa. Indubitably, I say. We all go home and Princess swore to get revenge. Princess worked hard and rebuilt her battle suit from her first fight against the Powerpuff Girls, and she went after Lola. Lola was playing outside with Lana and saw Princess in her suit. Lola loud! Exclaims Princess, enraged. Princess? Nice armor, says Lola. I will now have my revenge on you. If I can't be a rich girl, no one can. And I guess this is her. Wow. She's so mad. I don't think so, Princess, says question mark. The three streams of pink, aqua blue, and spring green. Oh, goody. Oh, goody. Why do they look like that? Hold on. And spring green light appeared and blew Princess into a tree. Sure enough, it was the Powerpuff Girls, and they were all grown up for some reason. Awesome. Yeah, and whose harem are they going to join? Out of my way. Out of my way. There. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup, it's great to see you all. Also, those don't look like high schoolers. Okay, those look like adult women, but whatever. It's great to see you all, says Lola, hugging them. Same here, Lola, says Blossom, hugging Lola. You still are as pretty and cute as we remember, says Bubbles. Have we gotten the Powerpuff Girls chapter before? I don't remember. Oh well. Cute as we remember, says Bubbles. And a fierce pageant queen, says Buttercup. Thanks, girl, says Lola. Princess Morbucks, you haven't changed at all. How have they grown up but not Princess? Wait, what? Whatever. You haven't changed at all, says Blossom to Princess. It's hard to imagine you look exactly as you were back when we were in kindergarten, says Buttercup. So she's not in kindergarten anymore. She's a she's as old as you guys are, roughly. Well, that can't be it either, because hold on. Yeah, that little girl is Princess Morbucks. I guess maybe it was little as a physical descriptor and not as descriptor of her age, but whatever, man. Whatever, man. You haven't changed at all. It's hard to imagine you look exactly as you were back when we were in kindergarten, says Buttercup. That really surprises me. How did that happen? Asks Lola. The professor found out she has an extremely rare condition called systemic hypolasia, or baby doll disease. It's a disease that keeps her from aging. All right, well, that answers my question. Says Bubbles. Lola and Lana were shocked. So, we had a teenager in kindergarten this whole time? That's weird, says Lana. That's really weird, says, says Lola. That is weird, isn't it? Says Blossom. It's not fair. How come you're older and I still look like I'm a kid? Asks Princess. Because you're too stupid to know anything about medicine, says Bubbles. Sure. All that money and always being a spoiled brat destroyed your mind to that of an underdeveloped soy nut, says Lola. I will make you pay 1,000 times over, says Princess, enraged. Lola spread her wings and fire, and Lana spread her wings of ice. Princess saw this and gasped. Lola and Lana, you now have superpowers? Asks Princess. That's right, we got fire and ice powers. I got my fire powers from. We don't need to do this. From the flames of Gabajol. Gabaja. The spirits of fire in Lithuanian myth. And I got my ice powers because of the snowflake of Kion, the goddess of snow in Greek myth. Awesome, says Lana. That's very interesting. I had no idea that you can get powers because of the blessings of mythological deities. Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, of course it can happen. Duh. Makes a lot of sense when you don't think about it. It happened to most of our family, Blossom, says Lola. Yeah, we got our powers from gods and goddesses of myth from all over the world, says Lana. That's amazing. I even heard that a girl with plant powers killed a kid. That's amazing. I even heard that a girl with plant powers killed a kid here, says Bubbles. Just naturally. Oh yeah. Woo. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that was our sister Lainey. She was given her plant powers by the Diamond of Gaia, says Lola. The kid the kid's name was Chandler Henderson, and he was a terrorist. Lainey fought and beat in our school. says Lana. Oh man, that's terrible, says Buttercup. Now I can get revenge on all of you, says Princess. Just try it, says Lola. Princess fired a blast of pink energy, and everyone flew into the air as it hit the ground and exploded. The explosion got our attention, and we came outside and found Lola and Lana fighting alongside the Powerpuff Girls. Whoa, the Powerpuff Girls! Awesome, I say. This is awesome, says Lori. I need to drink something, but I don't have anything here, so I'm just kind of reading quick so I can hurry up and get some water in my mouth. Oh, I've lost my spot. Blossom punched Princess in the face and sent her flying towards Buttercup. Buttercup fired a. Yeah, I'm just realizing what the hell I'm doing. You know, middle of the day. Actually, it's more of an afternoon now, but I'm reading this dribble, this slop. Buttercup fired a light green light ray at Princess and it blasted off her left armor in a fiery explosion. I guess she's not a kid, but I mean, she still kind of looks like a kid. This can't be. You're stronger and faster than ever, says Princess. We're not the same as we were back in kindergarten, Princess, says Buttercup. So how about you take a chill pill, says Lana, firing ice lightning at Princess. The ice lightning froze her in a block of ice, and it cracked and shattered, and her armor came off in thousands of pieces. Having a stroke. Now to finish you off for good. We've had it with you, Princess, says Bubbles. You'll get all this money You'll get all the money you ever want where you're going, says Blossom. And that is the Netherworld, says Buttercup. There's a lot of money in the Netherworld and hell. Why does that? Oh, never mind. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup fired pink, ochre, blue, and light green light ray at her, and they hit her. Let's see what burns you up, says Lola. Lola fired a stream of fire at Princess. Let's see. Let's see you chill, says Lana. Lana fired a beam of ice lightning, and the powers mixed, and Princess exploded all over the place into burning embers. I know she wasn't a little girl, but I don't think I could stomach seeing a person who looks like a little girl get blown up. Whatever. We did it, says Blossom. That's the end of the worst spoiled brat in the world, says Bubbles. Yeah, good riddance, says Buttercup. Lola and Lana were horrified by what they had just done. You didn't seem so horrified. Is that why you threw out some one-liners, bad as they were? They were still one-liners, you maniacs. Talk about sociopath. I'm looking at some. I hope you burn to death, I say, as I spray fire over this little girl. Oh my god, that burned you to death! As if I didn't know that would happen. Fucking stupid. Whatever. We just made our first kill, says Lola. Yeah, we did, says Lana. We're murderers. That is true. Cry Lola and Lana. Hard. Lainey came out and comforted them. It's all right, girls. It gets easier after. It gets easier the more you do it. It's all right, says Lainey. Are you all right, Lainey? Asks. Are you Lainey? Asks Blossom. Yes, I am, Blossom, answers Lainey. I heard you killed a terrorist kid named Chandler Henderson, says Blossom. Yes, I did, and that kid was a monster, says Lainey. I believe it, believe it. Quite frankly, he got what he deserved. Just like Princess did, says Blossom. That's right. Princess is now gone forever, and I hope she loves the Netherworld. Yep, what a happy ending, says Lainey. Yeah, good riddance to another villain, says Bubbles. We all come out. Hey, girls, I say. Hey, JD, Marie, says Buttercup. We saw the whole fight, and it looked like Lola and Alana made their first kill. We couldn't be prouder. Anyways, made their first kill, says Marie. Yeah, they sure did, says Lainey. Princess moved here to Michigan and continued her crime spree, and her assets, which were worth $75 billion, were seized. She was disowned by her father, naturally, and was forced to live out on the streets. Streets. But we also heard that Lola revealed everything she was doing and got her thrown in prison before she was made homeless, says Blossom. That's harsh, but she deserved it, I say. Indubitably, says Marie. Holy crap. That's a lot of ending stuff. Indubitably, says Marie. We take Lola and Lana into the living room and console them, and they got better, and we're gonna see a counselor during school. Oh yeah. Oh, here I go into my job as a student counselor at my local kindergarten or whatever. La 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 la. Oh, hey there, little girls. What can I talk to you? What can we talk about today? We killed somebody. Like, what the fuck are they gonna do? This isn't. 1 week passed and they were better. Cool. Oh yeah. Speed ran PTSD, I guess. Blossom Bubble, and Buttercup now live in one of the guest rooms. Casually. The end. Why not one of the guest houses? Huh? Huh? God knows you've got plenty. Another fan fiction completed. I loved watching the Powerpuff Girls from 1998 to 2005, and it was an awesome show. But now there's 2016's Powerpuff Girls, and I can't decide which is better. I hated Princess Morbucks. She's probably by far the worst spoiled brat ever known, and I think she deserves to be in prison forever. But far down in Antarctica. But that's my opinion. Oh, and what a wonderful one it is. Also, the Powerpuff Girls was made by Craig McCracken 20 years ago when Chris Savino was on the production crew for the show in Cartoon Network. I hated all the villains in the Powerpuff Girls, but the worst of them all was by far him, and he is the ultimate personification of pure evil. How can you hate Mojo Jojo? He's hilarious, isn't he? I never watched the Powerpuff Girls, but I've seen clips of Mojo Jojo, and he's kind of funny. He's a funny guy. I hate him with a terrible vengeance to the 10,000th power. Whoa! The second worst villain was Mojo Jojo. I hate the tyrannical monkey. Fuzzy Lumpkins is a funny and strange one, but I feel sorry for him because he doesn't like visitors or has any friends and lives in total isolation. What a lonely and poor soul. I also hate the Gangrene Gang. Gangrene Gang. They are the worst bullies that ever walked the planet, and they are the scum of the earth. I hate Sedusa. Sedusa? Wow, that's a crazy name for a kid's movie villain. A show villain, I mean. Kid's cartoon villain. Like Femme Fatale. Wait, I hate Sedusa, the Medusa like femme fatale criminal. She gives all women everywhere a bad name. I also hate femme fatale, the criminal woman that got the girls into hating boys. I hate people like that, and so on and so on. Technically, I hate all the villains of the Powerpuff Girls, and the only villain I have sympathy for is Fuzzy Lumpkins. That's nice. Let me know what you all think. Hated it. See you next time. Powerpuff Girls is owned by Craig McCracken and Cartoon Network. Fantastic. Wow, yep, that was great. Loved that. So happy to be reading this again and not playing Silk Song. What a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.